Hello students, we are discussing here the chapter number 9 of the class 5s. The name of this chapters is the soil. So in this chapters we will be discuss about the different type of soils and the structure of soils. So as we know that our earth crust is covered by the layer of the soil. So our earth crust, suppose if I making the picture of our earth, so this is the earth, okay, assume. So our earth crust, like the outer layer, outer surface of the earth crust is made by generally soil, and this soil is made up by the small piece of rock, dead plants and the animals. So these are the major constitute of our earth soil. Okay, so our soil is made by these constitutes like the piece of rock, dead plants and the animals. So now we will be see here is the importance of the soil. So what are the importance? As we know, our life is completely depend on the soil, because we will get the food from soils, our habitat is on the soils, and plant is also grow on the soil. So soil is important for all living organism. Plant will also grow in the soils, plant will make their food, plant will get the water from soils, okay, and some microorganism they will also found or they will also survive in the soils, and some microorganisms help or maintaining the soil fertility. What is the meaning of the soil fertility? Fertility means some microorganism will be increase the nutrition's value and minerals value in the soils, and which are generally absorbed by the plants for making the food process or photosynthesis process. We know plant will be make the food, and this food generally get by or made by the some minerals and the like waters, minerals and the water. So that will be done by the some microorganism. So now we will be see the type of the soils. There are the different type of soils. Generally we classify them into the three groups. One is the sandy soil, second is the clay soils, and third is the loamy soil. So here you will be see the sandy soils. I think you got the meaning of it by the name of sand. So those soil which contains the sand, as you know, sand has a large molecules of the or large grain structures. I think you know the grain means जो दाने हैं, यानी कि जो particles हैं, and sandy soil is or sandy soil has a grain of the rock, and it is dry and it is gritty. I think you know the meaning of the gritty. Gritty means brittles, like danedar, retila. And if you will touch it, so it will be appear like the gritty and the very dry. So we can say those soil which contains the high amount of the sand, that will be known the sandy soil, and it has a large particles and large space between these molecules, because the size particle is very high and very large, so definitely they have a large space. So it has a low holding capacity, low water holding capacity. What is the meaning of low water holding capacity? If you will add the water in sandy soil, so water can easily evaporate from the sandy soil, because the sandy soil molecules will not be hold tightly the water molecules, so it can be easily evaporate, and it can easily carry out away by the wind. And why it will be carried out? Because it has a low moisture, low water containment, so it can be easily blow. So this is the structure of the sandy soils, and it is very gritty, danedar. Now the second you will be talk like the clay soils. So clay soil is generally made by the small and fine particles. If you will be see here, the fine particles very smooth, and it is very soft to touch. So clay particles are very tightly packed because they are the very small, so they can be easily tied together, and they have a very good storage or water storage capacity is very good, because they have a short molecules, they have a small molecules. If you will add the water in clay soils, so it can be reserved, it can be conserved for a long times, it will not be evaporate easily. Okay, and when you will be touch them, so it will give the sticky touch. What is the meaning of sticky touch? When you will be touch them, so it will be like touch. Sticky means chip-chipa. Okay, and it is very smooth. So that's why we generally use these clay soils in making the pot, or we can say we are using it in the pottery systems. So I think you know the pottery, all those pot, all those what we say vessels or utensils, they are generally made by the soil. That will be known the pot, यानी मिट्टी के बर्तन, like the मटका, जैसे दिए, So they will be generally made by the clay soils. Okay, and most of the clay, I think you know, जैसे हम मूर्तियां बनाते हैं, so वो भी हमारी clay soils की बनेगी. I think you get the meaning of it. And clay soils. Now we will be discuss the loamy soil. So loamy soil, you have to remember, it is a kind of the mixture. And mixture of what? Mixture of all type of the soils. You will be find the silt, you will be find the sand, and you will be find the clay. So loamy soil is contain a balance of all three soils of materials. Silt is made by the large molecules. I will be right here. Okay, I just erase it. So you have to remember, silt soils is made by the large molecules, and sand soil, I think you know, the sand contains will be, or sand will be present, and clay soil is made by the fine particles and small particles. So we can say loamy soil is a mixture of the large particle of soil, the small particle of soils, and the sand particle of soils, and it contains the high humidity. Or you have to remember, high humus. Humus means the water vapor, or we can say water will be also present in the high amount in the loamy soils. Or that's why we can say it is good for the gardening, and it has also some nutrients and the organic matter. So it is rich in the nutrients and organic matter. Nutrients and organic matter that will be absorbed by the plants during the photosynthesis. So we can say this is the food of the plants. So it is will be present in the high amount. So definitely it will be good for the gardening. It will be good for the planting process. So loamy soil has a dark in colors. It feels very soft and dry in your hand, and it has a good water holding capacity because it is also made by the small particles, and air can move easily among the soil particles down to the roots. So it has a small gap between the soil particles, so air can easily pass through them. So, okay, if we are talking about, suppose this is the plant and this is the plant's root. So plant's roots require the some air. Why? Because they will be do some respirations, and air is also required for the root, and air will be passed through the soil particles, so it can be easily passed through them. So it is beneficial for the planting and gardening process. So I think you get the meaning of it. Now there is a question is given, name the microorganisms that are found in the soil. So large number of the microorganisms found in our soil, but the one is very beneficial to us because it helps in the increasing soil fertility to the soil. That will be known as the rhizobium bacteria. You have to remember, rhizobium bacteria will help in the increasing soil fertility. Rhizobium, B-I-U-M bacteria. Now I think you get the meaning of it.